Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Laura Klein, and I am with Rodan and Fields. And today I have a very special guest here today. Lauren and I met through a networking group, and I've been just so thrilled to get to know her. And I'm going to give you a little bio on Lauren. So Lauren is on a mission to help entrepreneurs stay in action so that they can focus on serving more people. Leveraging over a decade of leadership experience as a U.S. Navy officer and her experience as a strategy expert at some of the largest companies in Silicon Valley, Lauren can help you and your business move faster and save more time. Lauren offers a variety of professional coaching services, from individual or group coaching to speaking engagements on the topic of performance, marketing, strategy, and balance. So Lauren Cosgrave, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Laura. It's awesome to be here with you too. Thanks for that lovely intro.
So when I started my journey with Rodan and Fields, when I heard of a coach, I thought that just had to do with being a coach for a basketball team or any sort of sporting event, having a coach for that. I was not really aware of a coach, professional coach, like yourself. And so can you explain or share with me what is coaching actually like for a professional?
Yeah, sure. I had very similar reaction to you when I first heard about life coaches or like business coaches. And it really, once I experienced it, it was like, whoa, this is transformational. This is another level. And my coaching style, which everyone's coaching style is different. Like anytime I'm interviewing with someone or talking with a potential client, I always encourage them to talk to lots of different coaches because we all do things slightly differently. But I see myself as that guide to your dreams, to your goals, and to your objectives. I often call myself the Sherpa up the mountain of your dreams or your goals. And it's just that person that can ask you questions that you wouldn't have thought of. It's that person that gives you a slightly different perspective. In my personal experience, every time I meet with my coach and every time I meet with my clients, I feel like I'm giving them like a supercharge. It just like gives you this little bit of acceleration. And if you're meeting with them on a regular cadence, say that's weekly or every other week, you will move faster just because you have this person that challenges you, that pushes you, that gives you that accountability piece. And so that's really what coaching is all about. It's a relationship that helps you move faster towards whatever your goals are. And that can be facilitated through a couple of different ways. I do group coaching as well as private coaching. And it's all about finding the right coaching program that fits for whatever your goals or objectives are.
Yeah, I feel like it's really made a difference for myself in my business because, like you said, you might ask a certain question or even be someone that's accountable. You're like accountability coach almost to keep you in
Mm-hmm.
action, because we all know if you're taking action, you're moving forward in your business. So I really think there's such a value to be had with what you
Mm-hmm.
do. So right now, with things have just changed the way that we're able to interact with people because of COVID and just everything that's happening in the world right now. So how can solo entrepreneurs make the most of this time when in-person networking is not an option?
Yeah. Yeah. So things have changed a lot. And what I've seen is people approaching it in a different way. You've probably noticed that the social media landscape has changed dramatically in the past 3 months. We started off, what I saw in April was this like infusion of people to the internet, hungry for connection and just looking for those people that they connect with. Sorry.
No, that's
Sorry.
okay. This is real life, right? Like, just part of.
I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing on social media is real life too, like what we're seeing is people sharing their lives, their real lives on social media. Um, and I think it sparked so much creativity is one of the things that I've loved about it. There's also been this other side of the spectrum where people have had to change, and it's been scary and it's new. And a lot of people like just don't know how to move forward in their business because they've relied so heavily on that in-person networking component, or what I like to call like pounding the pavement style type entrepreneur. Um, and some of the things I would maybe give some like best practices of like how to navigate this landscape right now. One, I would say don't desperately start DMing people. Like that's one thing that I've seen an increase of is a lot more just like direct messaging of like, what are you doing? And do you want to talk? And I have this great service and it can help you. Please, 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 because I don't know what else to do, you know? And I have so much compassion for those people. And I almost always strive to respond. But what that does is it breaks down those, what your superpowers are from your in-person networking. And so I always coach my clients to lean on those skills that you had during your in-person networking. Really leverage real connection with people. And it always comes down to a solid CRM. It always comes down to having a really good client resource management tool where you're having real conversations with people and striving to help solve their problems rather than like, hey, I'm selling something. Do you want to buy? I'm selling. Do you want to buy? I'm selling. Do you want to buy? And I'm sure you do this with Rodan and Fields too, Laura. You're always striving to solve people's problems. Like that's really successful entrepreneurs are good at helping people solve their problems. So stay grounded and in that space of wanting to serve, of wanting to help, and do it from your place of authenticity. And always think about how would I do this in real life? And how can I mimic and simulate that in this new environment, either over Zoom or sending a video message. Like, let's get real creative with the way that we communicate with people. Facebook Messenger and almost any messaging platform right now, like use those media rich environments of sending a voice memo or a video memo. That will, I'm seeing, get so much more traction than just blasting out a lot of messages saying like, hey, come join my webinar, come buy something. So those are some of my power tips for how to navigate this time right now is just stay rooted in what you did before, but let's get creative and find a way to simulate that online.
Yeah, I think those are some really good tips. And I think in the very beginning of when we were sheltered in place, people didn't know how to live their lives, what to do. It kind of like the world stopped and I felt like every day was so slow. But I think after about a month of doing this and then realizing like, okay, we need to take some action, start getting back to work. But you don't want to feel like you're bombarding your friends and wanting them to just buy. So I found it really helpful for me just to connect with people, is to send messages, see how people are dealing with this, see how they're authentically doing. And I feel like through that process, I'm maintaining that friendship. And if I did have a virtual event or something I wanted to invite to, I felt much more comfortable inviting them to versus pounding them.
Yeah. You bring up a really great point, Laura, that there is a delay. That is probably the biggest struggle that I think most like really, hustling entrepreneurs that like really work hard for their business is learning to slow down their cadence when you're having that back and forth dialogue with someone. That like you can't lead with, hey, buy this thing, or hey, join this webinar.
Yeah.
You got to start from that place of just, how are you? I just wanted to check in, like truly, from my heart, I just want to make sure you're okay. And then let the conversation naturally flow. That it's so much faster when we're in person, right? To have that natural flow. So you just got to be a little bit more patient when you're dealing with the online space.
Yeah,
That's a great point,
totally
Laura.
agree. I totally agree. It's definitely been interesting. So speaking of feeling like you're pounding the pavement, productivity seems to be a common challenge for high achievers. What systems or tips do you give your clients to stay productive?
Yeah. So I am also a certified high performance coach. So a lot of my business coaching blends with the high performance training that I have. And so much of that is rooted in productivity. And I do know what it is, actually. I think it's because we're all home, because we have so many more distractions in our life. Productivity has risen to the top is something that I'm hearing a lot of people struggle with right now. And what I'm really finding with my clients when I dive into these issues with them around productivity is that it's rarely about their true productivity. It's more about the distractions that they have in their life now from being at home, or they haven't set clear goals that are realistic goals based off of this new environment that we're working in. And so my power tips are, one, find a system that works for you and stick to that system for a while. So I built a planner, it's called the Action Taker Planner, and I love the Action Taker system, but there's so many of them out there. Just find a system that works for you, where you're able to plan effectively for the next 90 days. And those goals, those objectives for the next 90 days become your guiding North Star. And when you always have those goals to fall back on, when things change, when our life gets, all of a sudden your kids are home or you've got a doctor's appointment and things don't go exactly as planned, you always have that resource to fall back on of like, okay, what is the next most important thing for me to work on? So my number one power tip is have a great goal setting system. My second power tip is become a ninja to distractions as much as humanly possible. And now there are some distractions in our lives that we can't control, right? Like if, okay, so let's talk about the fact that I forgot to tell my husband I'm doing an interview and he walked in the background. Oh, that's my bad. I forgot, but I'm just going to roll with it and let that go. Now, the distractions that I can control are our smartphones, our digital devices. And now more than ever, I think that it's really important that we make our smartphones almost dumb phones. That we need to become selective about the information that we consume, that we need to curate our news, our notifications. I recommend starting from scratch from your phone. If you're really struggling with a lot of digital overwhelm, if you're getting text messages, if you're getting pings on your phone, turn everything off. Start from like 0 of turning everything off. And then you will realize what are the notifications that you really need in your life if you do that for a day or two. You'll start to realize like, oh yeah, I definitely need my text messages. Okay, so you can leave that one off for all of 5 minutes and then turn it back on if you want to. That's like a pretty standard one. But you'll probably realize that I don't need that like news bubble popping up all the time. And you really don't need every email to come up on notification. That's probably the number one thing I work on my clients with is from the start, like, let's turn off all your email notifications. Right. Like if nothing else, if you selectively choose when I am going to get into my email inbox, and this is a block of time where I'm responding to email, that can make huge strides. There are productivity studies that have proven that if you start your day in email, your productivity is likely to go down by 30%. Almost a third of your productivity goes out the window if you start your day in your email inbox. I could go on and on. I have so many tips, so you can definitely find out more if you join my Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/the Action Taker Coaching. You can also find me on my website, but those are just probably, I just want to keep going, but I'll just leave it there with those like 2 main things of goal setting and minimizing distractions.
Well, you know what? I think those basic things could really make a big difference. I know for me, getting your Action Taker planner has really helped me stay focused. And I love all the positive reinforcement that your action planner makes you think about what you want to accomplish, what you did accomplish, and kind of patting yourself on the back, because when we are home, you know, especially being an entrepreneur, you can work all hours of the night and all day, 24 hours a day if you wanted to. And it's nice to kind of have a plan in place so that you can have some self-care time. I think self-care is one of those things that during this period of time, I don't know, I feel like it gets put to the back burner unless you make it a priority. And so I think having an action planner and having those goals set, you can feel like you're getting stuff done and feeling productive. So I love all of those tips. So thank you so much for being here today. And I'm going to put your website and your contact information in the comment section so that people can find you and learn more about what you're up to. And for everyone listening to this, if you enjoyed what you had to hear, please like, comment, and share. And we just really appreciate you taking the time to spend a little bit of time with us. So thanks again, Lauren, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, Laura. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Thanks.